when to stay out, when to sing harmony, when to sing lead, and that was the thing that informed us all the time, you know. And so we came to LA and used to play. We used to play mostly black clubs when we came back to LA. And there's a big circuit of black clubs. I don't know if it's existent now, but in those days there was a big circuit of black clubs and nightclubs in LA. The York Room, the Parisian Room, Mavericks Flats, the Climax Club. But at the top of the chain was PJ's in Hollywood. It became the Starwood, and now it's a Russian delicatessen. So, you know. But we played the PJ's, and we were the house band for, and opened for everybody that came in. Carmen McRae, Edwin Starr, Ray Charles, The Impressions, Little Anthony the Imperials, The Whisperers. Marvin Gaye got up one night when the Isley Brothers were playing and sang his new song, hadn't even been released yet, What's Going On. And so it was like in that era, man, it was like, wow. And during the week, we would play at the white clubs that didn't pay any money. You got exposure. You could die from exposure, you know. I've been exposed enough, you know. I needed some money. And so we would do this thing on Monday nights at the Troubadour, and it's called Hoot Night, like Hoot Nanny. Here, it's supposed to go up and have a Hoot Nanny. And their policy was that the first 6 acts that were there when the box office opened at 6 o'clock would go on that night in reverse order. So the first ones that were there got to go on 6th, which actually was a good spot because everybody was in, they had ordered a drink, they, you know, maybe ordered a second drink, they were ready to see a show. And we were number 6, we were number 1 in line every single time because we got there at 9 o'clock in the morning and sat there on the sidewalk in front of the Troubadour till it opened at 6 every day because it was all focused on how to make this act work, how to write stuff and how to harmonize with each other and how to make sense of things that we saw going back and forth in front of us on the street. And I learned in my popping days when I was in Vancouver, I learned about what an artist does because I was supposed to go out to do interviews with different stars that came to town. The first one was Little Richard. That was a wild one. And then the second one was Richard Pryor. And I was supposed to go out and I went and saw his show. And he was just converting from being, you know, kind of a standard comedian to being the voice really, the comic voice of Black America and America in general. And I saw his show and he says, come over to the hotel tomorrow morning and I'll do a thing. Yeah, okay. Walked in, knocked on his hotel. German girl answered it, kind of scantily clothed. And Richard Pryor's in bed there, naked. And he had covered up a little bit. And yeah, come on, man, come on. Sit right here. So I sat next to his bed and did this interview with him naked in bed. Okay, yeah. And I said, well, what is so important about what Richard Pryor does? And he said, it's not what Richard Pryor does, it's what Richard Pryor sees. And it made a huge impression on me. And that's what an artist does. He sees stuff and translates it through his art in order for you to see it at the same time. So I always stuck with it. So when Tom and I were making up all this material, it's what we saw on the streets around us, what we gathered from that. So we played all over LA until one night at the Troubadour, we were seen by this man named Lou Adler, who was the world's biggest record producer at the time. Yeah, Lou Adler. He had Sam Cooke, Johnny Rivers, Mamas and Papas, Monterey Pop, Spirit, and he was just about to release this record by a girl named Carole King called Tapestry, which became, by a factor of 15, the biggest record ever sold. And it was like, we were right in that thing. And so he called us into his office and we looked at this gold records everywhere, all over the walls, on the ceiling, and on the floor, laying against the wall. And we looked at, wow. And he said, well, what do you guys want to do? Make a record. Oh yeah, what kind? Gold. Seems to be what you make. We'd like to make a gold record. So I said, because we didn't know how to do that. You know, how do we translate what we do on stage which was totally visual, to something you could only hear, which was the record. How to get, so we learned that you had to do stuff that sounded funny. Not something that you could make a face and everybody would get it, you know? Because all the comedians, our contemporaries at that time, their records were recording of their live act. Richard Pryor, Lily Tomlin, George Carlin, Steve Martin, all those guys. It was a live recording of their act. We went into the studio and started creating these little scenes because we came out of improv acting, you know. So we didn't really need an audience. It was the days of first we started off, it was 4-track. That was a big deal. Then very soon 8-track, 1632. So we had all these tracks to fill up, and we could make these scenes, and we did it in improv in front of the microphones every day in the studio. You know, because of our training, okay, I'm this guy, and Tommy, you're that guy, and this is the situation, go. And we just started, you know, because it was just 2 guys with 2 microphones in the little mix-down room. It wasn't that, you know, you didn't have to get a huge art sound truck, or, you know. So we started doing this. We started crafting these little scenes, and then adding atmosphere and background and music and other noises, and all of a sudden we released the album, and it became a big hit because of the rise of FM radio at the same time. They wanted something different than AM, yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy, you know, like, no, we want to have dope in my tummy or so on. And so it started spreading out all over the country, and we were the vanguards of it, you know. And so we started going on, and it exploded. The record exploded throughout the country, man. We very quickly went from clubs to bigger clubs to opening for big acts like Alice Cooper and Red and the Allman Brothers. We even opened up for the Rolling Stones one night. You were there. Did you take my jacket? Because I'm missing a jacket. We're about the same size. Santana. Bill read Santana, Cheech and Chong, and the Rolling Stones. It was good. It was cool, you know? And we didn't really think about it that much at the time, you know, because we were always on the road. By this time, we had been used to playing big auditoriums like that. But we just kept playing, and every year we get nominated for a Grammy for our albums, and it didn't kind of register with us because we were always working. We worked over 300 days a year, every year, for 6, 7, 8 years, and we were out there, boom, boom, boom. So finally, we came to the end of that, and we decided, what do other comic... Yes, ma'am? Oh, 1 minute, okay. We're almost there. I can feel it. We did what all great comedy acts do. We made a movie. You know, okay, how do we make a movie? I don't know. How do you make a record? Same way, I guess. So we finally figured it out how we were gonna do that. Well, you have to have a first act, a second act, a third act. We didn't know what's an act, you know. We didn't know. We only knew that we were gonna be funny in front of a camera. That was our technique. And because we didn't, there's not much plot there. Well, no, there is a plot. Up in Smoke has a plot. And this is the plot. 2 guys meet, they want to form a band, but first they need to find a joint. Therein lies your plot. And that was much funnier what they went through to find this joint than any plot you could imagine. And so it was day in the life of these 2 guys, and that's what was the template for all our movies. Eventually we made a lot of movies, they were very successful. Push came to shove with some guy that you're in the same room with 24 hours a day for 17 years, and we decided, hey, you want to do your thing, I want to do my thing, good luck. And we separated and started one. And that's when I started on my own career with Born in East LA. It's probably the greatest movie ever made. That's just me. But anyways, we're going to check it out. Before we got anybody got any questions? I'll answer. Yes, sir, right in front. Tommy was on Dance with the Stars, and now I'm thinking, am I thinking to do that? Not on your life. He was the oldest guy to get that far on Dancing with the Stars. And I have bad knees. I can't dance, and they beat him to death. I know. I mean, those contestants. It looks all fun and game and sequins and songs and everything, but they rehearsed. I can't remember 5-6 hours every day because we were on the road all the time. When he was competing, they would send the girl out with a crew, meet us in the city, get off the plane, go to a studio, dance all day, come and do the show, get on another plane, fly to the next city early so they could do the same thing. And this guy is 150 years old, you know. Like, poor guy. At the end, he just went. His choreography. He sat in his seat and they danced around him, you know. But no, I'm not thinking of doing that ever. Yes, sir.
Question in the front.
Chong.
Your collection of Chicano art, amazing collection. Do you show it as a whole, and where can we go see it?
I've been showing it in different my Chicano art collection. I don't know if I have the biggest collection, but I have the best. You know? How much? What? Oh, it's on the latest part of it is Papel Chicano 2, works on paper from the collection. It's at Riverside Art Museum until the May 7th. Anybody been to Riverside? Cool place, huh? Stay tuned. Stay tuned for Riverside. Yes, sir.
Question up front to your right.
Did you ever meet Paul Rubens?
Yeah, I did. Pee Wee Herman. Everybody know Pee Wee Herman? Well, what we did when we first started making movies is, well, how are you going to get these actors? Because we improvised everything, but we knew what we were doing, and like we made a movie, handed them a 3-page script, and the studio financed it, and it wasn't even scenes. It was just names of scenes we wanted to do. Oh, okay, well, we'll be there 2 days, you know, and because we weren't making a blueprint for somebody else to make this. We knew what we were doing, so this is just a guide for us to make our own movie. So, but you could have other actors in it, so how do you do that? So we used to look around for other improv actors, and the best improv actors in LA at that time was this brand new theater that started up called the Groundlings. And the first year of the Groundlings had Paul Rubens, Edie McClure, John Paragon, what's his name? Phil Hartman, Elvira, Cassandra Peterson. They were all in the troupe at the same time. It's like, okay, all you guys are now in our movie, and you take those characters you've been doing, and we'll put here's a situation for that character, and that's what we did all the way along. We never wrote them a script. Here's the idea. You got the character. Do this there, and that's how we made our movies, because you can capture in that way a spontaneity that you cannot possibly capture in a written word. Okay, and I'm gonna have to read this and memorize it and rehearse it and read it again and read it again. That method in records and that method on film, you capture something you can't capture any other way. The spontaneity. I mean, the scenes will go on forever, but that's, I think, what made them watchable for a long time, is that we filmed stuff mainly in masters, you know, just one shot. We didn't know about close-up and, you know, that's how dumb we were. But the thing is, watching a comedy, especially a comedy in a master, is you get to decide when it's funny. They don't cut to punchline, you know, and you see all this unfolding. So what happens is the comedy seeps into you, not just it's jammed into you, you know, and that's a big difference. That's why these movies can be watched over and over, because like the 10th time you see Up in Smoke, you'll find some, oh, hey, give me a cookie. And that line, I've heard that line a zillion times, man. They have a little, but they discover them, and they're part of that process. You know, it's not jammed down your throat.
I think we have time for one final question.
One final question.
Right up here in front.
So I grew up on Up in Smoke and Nice Dreams, and now all these years later, and as a parent, I was wondering if you could reflect on the content of those movies from a parental perspective.
From a parent's perspective. I don't give a shit. No, I mean, don't want your kids watching it, don't let them watch it. The thing about Cheech and Chong, their comedy, their albums, our albums, and our movies, is for whatever age you watch or hear them, you understand what you understand. If I watched my 12-year-old son discover the records, he would wash dishes every night when I lived in San Francisco. I had this little stairway that I could sit there and watch him and have him listen to the albums. And he would laugh at all the funny stuff, the sound funny, the funny character, but anything that was like, you know, sex or even drug, he didn't know these minutes. You know, go by till the next. When they start realizing what it is, it's too late. Because they were, and nobody's really gotten in trouble, I think, for watching Cheech and Chong, and it has enriched their lives, you know, as I was saying. So thank you very much for enriching my life. Thank you very much. I'm going to be signing books. I'm going to be signing books, man.
You're going to be signing books in about 10 minutes. Right over there, signing area 8. So signing area 8
Signing
is right,
area 8.
right under the arch.
Right next to parking lot 5. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. I appreciate it. Man, thank you. I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cheech Marin. So what you can do, if you'd like a copy of the book, you can do so right over there. That's our friends Vromans, our favorite independent bookseller.